Scrappy peeps, it's Suzanna here today to share with you our latest episode of Scale It Down, where Simone and I share with you how to scrap in a traveler's notebook. So this month we are working on sketches, so that was the sketch that inspired us, and this is the layout that I did in my traveler's notebook. The sketch was created by Kristine Davidson for Creative Scrappers, and it is a 12 by 12 sketch, which I'm going to translate and put into my traveler's notebook. So in essence, a traveler's notebook is a square palette to work on, and you can see how the sketch could translate to the two different pages or one double page spread. So I'm working with this collection from Dear Lizzie called Stargazer, and I'm working on another food photo. This is my CHA or Creativation album that I've been working on, and eventually I will finish this album and I will show you a flip through of the whole album because I'm still on day one as I arrived in Arizona. So the sketch has I'm going to call it a dividing strip that divides the top and the bottom of the layout. So I'm using this blue selvage strip that I am going to put through my photo and across to the other side. I don't actually have a strip that's long enough because I ripped it when I pulled it out of the album, but that's okay because I'm just going to join it together and cover the join, and you won't know that that's what happened. Now, were this to have been a 12 by 12, and or I could have done it also here in the traveler's notebook, you can see how in the sketch you may potentially have had one color up above and a different patterned paper down below. I opted not to do that because I didn't want that in my notebook. I wanted to use some mixed media. So the photos are two squares of different sizes. Instead, you can see I'm going to use that sort of journal card from Shamil that says, I just want to, and then my other square is actually going to be a square, and it is that square photo there. And I am going to finish off the title from I Just Want to with letter stickers that are going to go where it says title in the sketch. Then on the right-hand side of the sketch, Kristine has a bunch of circles and stars as the embellishments. So I've pulled out these pieces of paper from the 12 by 12 pack, and I'm going to use my circle punches to punch out different size circles. So I'm just pulling colors that go with the floral that has the multi different colors in it, and so I'm going to do different size circles, and some of them are scallop circles. They're not scallop circles, it's like a zigzag. I forget what that's called, and I'm going to use those circles somewhat similar to the way that the sketch calls for them. And then instead of stars, I'm going to fussy cut some of the flowers from the Dear Lizzie and use that in place of the stars. And I will speed up the fussy cutting of those because you don't need to see that. And then that becomes the bulk of my traveler's notebook spread, and you can see how it resembles the sketch only translated for a traveler's notebook. So now I have some of my Nouveau embellishment mousse, which I absolutely love, and I'm going to put thick stripes and thin stripes to just create a little more interest in this layout. That is not called for in the sketch, that is my interpretation, and again, I like adding mixed media to my layouts. Sometimes it's very simple, such as the case here. And again, I just feel like it adds a little bit. I love the shimmer dimension that it gives to it. And then from there, I'm going to add the fussy cut flowers and then find some embellishments. So I'll show you cutting one flower, and then I think I'm just going to skip through the rest of the flowers because it's a little bit time consuming in order to have the number of flowers that I wanted for this particular layout. I do two things off camera because those of you who follow my work know that I tend to I get a different perspective when I'm not standing over it, and so I did add a sticker, a navy blue sticker to the top of I Just Want To, and then I did journal underneath. I do try and tell my stories in my traveler's notebooks because these are more about the story for me, a traveler's notebook is, than it is about just sometimes being creative. So there's a nice sort of sprinkling of flowers that matches where the stars would be. And Kristine has journaled on the right-hand side, or those are the lines that she's left for journaling, only I decided that I was going to interpret those lines as the paint that I put on the, or embellishment mousse that I put on the layout there. And so I want to finish the title. So the title for my layout begins above, and I thought I'd use that green to cut out letters, but I decided that I wanted to bring in a little bit more of that pink because I think that the pink brings out the beets, the red in the beets in the photo, and so I just put eat there so that the title becomes I Just Want to Eat. I was starving. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon with a time change, which meant that it was probably 3 at home and hadn't had lunch. So that's why the title is what it is there. I used a few of the asterisks to just tie the page together and put another sprinkling of hot pink on the other side there. So that is my interpretation of sketch number 2. Be sure to come and join us in 2 weeks where we have our Grab 5 and a guest designer. Please don't hesitate to leave comments in the box down below. Thanks for joining me today. Take care.